नमस्कार, आदाब, सत श्री अकाल दोस्तों। स्वागत है आपका एक बार फिर से हमारे YouTube चैनल ब्रास फ्यूजन्स पर, जहां आज हम आपके लिए लेकर आए हैं एक नया लेसन।
Farmers or farming sector is going to be privatized. How it is going to link with our company law also I will tell you. Like if you see section in the bill, to the extent which I have referred to, I will just show it to you. I'll just Are you able to see this? Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So if you go through this, this is the ordinance. Already they have brought it, right? And you can see this becomes, you have to link this with the farmers produce infrastructure and all with the producers company. If you remember, we discussed about the producer companies also. Remember that the producer company as uh, one of the form of company, right? So if you see in the I will share with you the original bill that is with me. What was there earlier is that I've seen the other, no, so just bill text. See, if you see, it says that company means the company here in this same bill. If you see they have defined the company. The company means the company defined under clause 20 of section 2. And this clause 20, it means the company that is registered under the Companies Act of 2013 or previous act. So here the previous act means 1956. Okay. And we also, at that time, there is a producer company also, where we have seen the farmers, cooperative society for helping each other and all. If you remember, we discussed that. So you have to link the present, or at least you make an attempt to study how the possibility is for the revival of that producer company, and how it will have an contribute for it. Because this pharmacy, they also mentions about the farmer producer organization. So if we see that apart from, without any political and all the aspects, from the purely academic point of view, if you view this bill, what they are trying to do it, they are trying to bring it on the platform, that is they are regulating it, which was once in an unorganized sector. Now they are trying to bring it on the organized manner or regulation, where the middlemen will get avoided. Okay. And the instead of the middlemen, the companies, so the producers company, or of course the multinational companies can also come. So they are giving a wider platform, they're trying to give wider platform for the farmers to trade with it. Of course it has a lot of issues, like how the farmers will be in a position, whether they won't be misused or all. And if you see now also the middlemen are misusing, but now what will happen, it will be through the companies, they will take the role of middlemen, and the middle persons will get avoided from the place. And it will be again organized means, regulated means, again the revenue for the government will increase, and the burden of the government will reduce, for the stance that if there is due to some exigencies and all, the farmers, they need to be compensated by the concerned companies, whoever is trying to get their crop. So the burden of the government will reduce, and other way it will get more regulated. Okay, so this is what I just understood. I have not read it in a proper or detailed. I have not researched, but peripherically, I just when I just gone through the bill, and I just saw the company and the multinational company. That's why I was reading it. So what I found is that this bill will give scope for more incorporation of the companies. Okay, so now instead of seeking for a secured or the as an employee, if you are having and governments are providing loan also to start up the business. So if anybody is having the attitude or skill, so even among the farmers themselves, they can also register a company for their own purpose, and then they can come up, they can raise, and then they can explore it. So it's not that only multinational companies will gain it, but yes, they have to come up, they have to regularize, and the scope for the companies, scope for registration of the companies. Yes, it is the way of informal economy to the formal economy. That's what I'm saying. This is how slowly they are trying to bring the, and once it is brought and once everything gets settled, then the burden on the government nowadays. What is happening for each and everything? We are just like we are fully dependent on our parents. So like that, people are depending on the state. And what is the problem with the state? State is not having that much of funds or the finance to take care of everyone, so they have to, otherwise also they have to depend on the multinational corporates or the corporation takes a loan and all. So what they are trying to do is that they are not doing nothing great as such, but whatever was there in existence, they are just trying to formalize it. That's it. The things, the system is there, है ना, system सब कुछ it is there, but they are only trying to make it in a very मतलब regulation सब दिखा के, जैसे होता है ना कि जो चीजें बहुत अच्छे से समझ में आती है तो उसको थोड़ा सा और पुडिंग्स में, मतलब you just make it in such a way that it will feel something great is happening. So it is nothing great as such if you see, but they're only trying to do the things in this manner. Okay, so that's what I have found this. So good opportunity for those who are in the farming sector. This is the time to start up the companies for the promotion of your own farm products. Get it registered under the Companies Act, because it is very simple. It mentions about section 2 and subsection 20, and even one person company can also be formed. Because again, if you look into the company, it does not say that only the multinational companies and all. So don't go with this politics that is going on, but just objectively you just try to link this and see if there is any opportunity for you, and if any one of you having any business ideas or any business acumen. So this is the time that you can explore and come up along with your legal. And one more aspect is there is a dispute resolution here. Okay, so dispute resolution means, so in a way, what I found is that this will provide employment, professional employment opportunities for others. Starting with the promotion of the companies, there will be scope for the mediations and settlement, and whenever the farmers and they required any legal, so legal help is of course they require. So you all can be the pioneers, and you can all explore this opportunity to come up with the things. Okay, so now let's go back to the case. That is, State Trading Corporation versus Commissioner of CTO, Commissioner of Sales Tax. Okay, so that's what State Trading Corporation, and it is actually. I will try to share the case. Just Yes. So the question is, the question is that whether the companies, whether a company is a citizen or not, and whether the companies can enjoy, whether the companies can enjoy fundamental rights, whether the company can enjoy the fundamental right, whether they have, uh, just whether the companies have nationality, domicile, residence. All these are the things that has been discussed or covered under this case. and if they can enjoy, or if they are because it's an artificial person, so why not they enjoy the fundamental rights? Now, so these questions arose, and this is actually the writ petitions that were filed by the State Trading Corporation Limited. And remember that this is actually relating to the tax, okay, commercial tax officer. So this is relating to the taxation case, and you can see the trade have always become a dispute, tax law and all. So there, when the companies approached, they said that there is a violation. So what happened in this case? A private company was incorporated. A private company was incorporated under the name of State Trading Corporation. But as I told you that a company, it it is majority of the government type of company. It is not the pure government company, but shares of this corporation were held by the President of India, and there were two secretaries in their official capacities. So that's why they were trying to say that since the President of India was also there, then two secretaries in their official capacities also were there. Okay, because it's a state trading corporation, so they say that it is coming under the the state. So then they say that it is admittable under Article 32 for quashing the proceedings that is initiated against the company for the assessment of the sales tax, okay, under the provisions of the Andhra Pradesh Sales Tax Act. So the question was here, the main question, so this is what we have to stress on, whether the state trading corporation that is registered under the Indian Companies Act is a citizen within the meaning of Article 19 of the Constitution, and whether they can ask for the enforcement of the fundamental rights granted to the citizens under the said article. So this is the first question. Secondly, whether the notwithstanding the formality of incorporation under the Indian Companies Act, in substance, it is a department or an organ of the government of India with the entirely of its capital contributed by the government, and whether it can claim the fundamental right, or because it is only against the state under part 3 of the Constitution, against the state as defined in Article 12 thereof. So this is what the major question that has arose in this case. And while discussing the main aspect that has been the first petitioner, so here this becomes important, that is the second petitioner is the shareholder in the first petitioner company, then the two petitioner claim to be the Indian. So this is what the two petitioners claim to be the Indian citizens, as all shareholders are Indian citizens. Okay, and so what they are saying is that since the persons behind the company are the Indian citizens, then they can also claim the fundamental right. So this is what, okay, the two petitioners, they are the Indian citizens, and all its shareholders are Indian citizens, and hence when their fundamental rights get violated, see, the petitioner, this becomes important, appropriate authorities, see, till this part, that is the petitioners claim to be the Indian citizens and contended that their fundamental rights under Article 19 of the Constitution has been infringed as a result of the proceedings taken and demands of the sales tax made by the appropriate authorities. So when the Andhra Pradesh sales tax authorities demanded or asked for the proceedings because they have not paid the tax that need to be paid, so when the action has taken against or proceedings against the company, then they said that you cannot take because the persons are also the Indian citizens. Then what is the difference? And in this contest, also they says that the part 3, coming to this, part 3 of the Constitution deals with the fundamental rights. And some fundamental rights are available to any person, whereas fundamental rights can available only to the citizen. So this para becomes very important because it highlights the constitutional perspective or the reflection of the Constitution in the companies. So so what the major argument, so in this regard you should also know the case of RC Cooper. Okay, RC Cooper versus Union of India, where again on the contest when the on midnight the banks were nationalized by the then government under the leadership of Srimati Indira Gandhi. One midnight, the legislation ordinance was brought, and all the commercial banks, matlab major commercial banks were nationalized. So by getting as a shareholder, the RC Cooper, that is the Rustam Kawasgi. So he was the managing director and as well as the shareholder of many of the central banks. So he said that as a shareholder, his right got violated. No permission was taken from it. So government has brought up a legislation, and then they acquired the commercial banking sector or the commercial banks that they were functioning. So he said that they have violated the fundamental rights of the shareholder. So now the and also see here, no person shall be deprived of his property save by authority of the law. So this is what at that time it is challenged under Article 31. So how they're because it is the company that has acquired, right? And it is a citizen. That's what they argued. He is a citizen of India because it is incorporated. Once it is incorporated, that means you are giving a citizenship to it, and it is whether irrespective of the natural person or artificial person. So it is recognized by law. So then they argued that they are also entitled. They are also entitled for getting the fundamental rights along with that is awarded to the citizens. But ultimately, the court said that the Citizenship Act defines who are all the citizens, and it gives citizenship only to the natural person. So that's the important aspect. Citizenship is given only to the natural person, and it is not. So they also argued, okay, but irrespective whether a person is a citizen or non-citizen, or whether he is a natural person or a juristic person, the right to move Supreme Court by appropriate proceedings for the enforcement of their respective right has been granted under the. So there is no doubt. Okay, they can approach the Supreme Court. They have the right to approach the Supreme Court, but whether they can be recognized as no citizen, whether the company can enjoy, or whether the company can be said as a citizen, they try to argue. They gave a lot of arguments. See, what is the legal significance of the term citizen? Here it comes. It says this para, it is not defined by the constitution, but the citizenship is dealt, and we have the separate citizenship law also, right? And in it specifically mentioned that citizenship is available only to the natural person. So hence in this see, this is again the provisions of relating to citizenship. So the court said that it can be given only to the natural person. So hence it held that the company is not a citizen. Now again, coming to the next important perspective of this case, you can see that the definition of the word person, it is by naturalization. Citizenship by naturalization and citizenship by incorporation of territory have nothing to do with the juristic person. So the perspective of the Citizenship Act cannot be provided or cannot be given to the State Trading Corporation. So it held that it is not a citizen. State Trading Corporation is not a citizen. Company is not a citizen. Now let me ask you, what is the difference? Is there any difference between nationality and citizenship? Can any one of you tell me? Nationality and citizenship. Is there any difference? This para is important. I'm just marking. Nationality और citizenship में कोई अंतर है? Nationality and citizenship. Anybody can? Any one of you can? Nobody wants to?
I think,
Yes, please.
ma'am, I think nationality is related to the nation, but citizenship is related to a document.
Related to a document.
Yes, ma'am.
Uh, Huh.
Nationality can be traced down to the
Huh.
place where a person was born, and probably citizenship
Huh.
can be to a as in the, from which country they're a passport holder of, or for which country
Okay,
they're a
so now if I just take with this, so if I am the citizenship of USA, okay, I'm born in India, but I went there, I got the green card and I got the citizenship there. So I cannot be the citizen here, right? So can I be the national here?
You'll be an Indian national, but living or with a citizenship or a green card in US.
So, this questions has been analyzed here. And what they are saying is that nationality and citizenship, it refers, nationality is a kind of jural relationship that is recognized under the international law. Okay, under the international law, you will be termed as the, Indian national, okay, American national, like that. And this citizenship is coming under the purview of municipal law. That's how they have, so you can note this aspects also has been discussed. So nationality and the citizenship has they said that it is interchangeable. Okay, it is interchangeable according to them. Even if I got the citizenship in US, I can't say that I'm a national of, I can only say that I was, but now I got acquired the citizenship, so I am the national there also. I can only say that my ancestors, or I was, because these terms are interchangeable. That's what the the discussions regarding the citizen and the national has taken place. And what they say that it is a jural relationship, that means the juristic way of, or the jural relationship, that is considered under the international law. Whereas in case of the citizenship, see, actually what is the purpose of a citizen? देखो, ये citizen और national इनकी जरूरत क्यों आती है? It's only because to have a kind of relationship with the state. Because in order to have a relationship with the state, that is why this citizenship is required. Suppose if you don't belong to anyone, if I don't want to belong anyone, then it's okay. You don't get any passport, you don't want any ID card, nothing. But whenever anything happens, so you need an identity. So when you look for the identity, then only these terms come into picture, then you require it. So this nationality and citizenship are actually used, and it is interchangeable terms. But when it comes to the question of establishing the jural relationship, nationality is considered under the international law. And whereas when it comes to the jural relationship within the domestic or within the municipal law, citizenship is considered. So we don't have the nationality law. So it is just like the nations theory. So international level, it is known as the nation, and at the municipal level, it is the country where the citizenship is considered. And so nationality, actually, what is the why it is required? It determines the civil right of the person, whether it is a natural person or artificial person. So in case of a company, they will enjoy the nationality, okay, with reference to the international law. Suppose a company which is foreign company, when it registered in India, they will get the nationality, they will be known, or the nationality will be of the America, so though they are doing the business here. So nationality is only with reference to the international law, whereas the citizenship is connected with the civil rights under the municipal law. So when it comes to the municipal law, it is the citizenship. So that is why we have referred to the Citizenship Act. Okay, we have not looked into the international law. We have only looked into the Citizenship Act, which confers citizenship only to a natural person. So the Indian Citizenship Act, they don't even recognize, to my understanding, dual citizenship. So this Citizenship Act confers the right to citizenship only to the natural person. So this is the municipal law, this is the domestic law. Hence, the company is not recognized as a citizen. Otherwise, from the international law, international level, if we see, then they have, they can enjoy the nationality. So I will well, let us come to see the private international law. So it's this paragraph I'm just marking. This paragraph becomes important because it is here they have discussed to a person, any citizen, and also coming to the distinction. See, okay, it is argued the distinction made in the constitution, the persons and citizens, is not the same thing as the distinction between the natural and the juristic persons. They are the persons, and they would include all citizens and non-citizens. But the court here, they coming to again. See, let's see that again. The constitutional rights. I'll be sharing with you all this, okay? So you can read it again to understand. If you have any doubts, you can always ask. So what in short it says that nationality, so the distinction between the nationality and the citizenship was also discussed. And though there is no distinction, nationality is discussed at the international level, that is the jural relationship, whereas in case of the citizens, it is enjoyed at the nation, at the within the municipal law or the domestic law. And citizens are those persons who have full political rights, as distinguished from the nationals who may not enjoy full political rights and are still domiciled in that country. Okay, so the citizens are the persons who enjoy the everything that is available to the citizens, and it is not now the question again is that coming to the concept of person. Now who is the person? Now again, if we just see, then who is the person now? So persons again means the natural persons, right? Natural persons, but the artificial persons or this corporations are also recognized. So when it comes to the question of fundamental rights, what it says that the company can have its nationality, they can have the domicile, and they can have the residence, because once you are incorporating or registering under with the registrar of companies, you will get the domicile, you will get the register residence. That is what the registered office of the company, right? You will get. And so in this regard, you will also enjoy certain fundamental rights, certain fundamental rights that are available to the persons. So without being the natural person, you can also, the company will also enjoy how, being the shareholder. So on behalf of the company, the shareholder can file the writ before the Supreme Court, and they can invoke Article 32 on the basis, on behalf of the company. Okay, so the fundamental rights of the company, that is the citizens, are not lost when they associate or to form a company. So that is why in the RC Cooper also it recognized the right of the petitioner, that is RC Cooper's right on behalf of the company was recognized. So the fundamental rights can be enjoyed by the company subject to restrictions, and so it's not that all the fundamental rights, but those rights where as the shareholders on behalf of the company can approach. So the shareholders' right are equally or necessarily affected if the rights of the company are getting affected. So the company will acquire a standing or the impleading shareholder. For example, in the constitution, you might have studied the Bennett Coulomb case, and there it was relating to the Burma Shell. So what happened? The company was acquired by the government, and when the government acquired it, the employees there, they were not given the benefits. Okay, saying that now it is not you are the ex-employees, and now the company has been taken acquired by the government. So when they approached the court, the same, though the company, so earlier they were the working with the company that is registered, and now after the Burma Shell or the when the government acquired it, they said that they got the change of government, that is government company. So the employees there, the employees are also entitled to get it, the rights of the benefits that is given to the people. So the shareholders in this scenario or the employees can also enjoy, because they are the persons who are behind the company. So make it clear that being a person in the eyes of law, a company can also claim protection of fundamental rights as that are granted to all persons, whether citizens or not. And they cannot be there cannot be any discrimination. And of course, no taxation can be done without the authority of the law, even for for the companies. If you want to do anything for the company, so in the bank nationalization case as well, they brought the legislation and then they have acquired it. Suppose if there no legislation was there, then and without the authority of the law, no government can take it. So you cannot curtail the freedom of trade and commerce, and the no property of the company cannot be compulsorily acquired. Remember that. You cannot acquire the company when you wish. You cannot take that, right? So what is said, or what we can confer with the state trading corporation case is that it recognized that a company is a national company, can enjoy nationality, but it is not a citizen. It can enjoy domicile, it can enjoy having the residence, it can enjoy certain fundamental rights through the shareholders and not otherwise. So that's the beauty or importance of this case of ST case. And if you can, citizenship can be acquired by registration, so companies too are registered, then are not the yes. But at the same time, if in the Citizenship Act it says that it is given only to the natural persons, and here when it refers to the registration, what kind of registration it signifies, it is again for the natural persons by registration, to my understanding, right? So that is one of the reason. And of course, these things can change, though it is now like this, it is not that it is permanent. This is not the basic feature of the constitution. So this company is now, if you see, the things are changing. And now if you remember the Bangalore water supply case, where the question was left open by Justice VR Krishnayer, whether the private the companies can also writ can be filed against the private companies. Now the time has come that we are governed full by the private companies. So the private companies also need to be recognized as coming under the state entity, because they are functioning in such a manner. So if there is a violation, then of course we can also have as an instrumentality of the state, the private companies also need to be brought under the purview. So the things may change with the changing times, but at least till today, the situation is that citizenship is not given to the companies. But apart from that, they enjoy the other nationalities, domicile, residence, and all these aspects they are enjoying. So that's for today's class. And if you have any doubts in this case or anything else you want to discuss, you are welcome. Or else let me take your attendance.
दोस्तों, अगर आपको आज का लेसन पसंद आया हो तो वीडियो को लाइक करें। इसी के साथ अगर आपने अभी तक हमारा चैनल सब्सक्राइब नहीं किया है तो सब्सक्राइब के बटन पर क्लिक करिए और बेल आइकन दबाना ना भूलें, ताकि आपको एजुकेशन से रिलेटेड नए नए अपडेट्स मिलते रहें। और अधिक जानकारी पाने के लिए आप हमारे फेसबुक और इंस्टाग्राम पेज से भी जुड़ सकते हैं, जिसका लिंक डिस्क्रिप्शन बॉक्स में दिया गया है। धन्यवाद।